Harvest weed seed control is such a new concept for the north. So it's something that's being talked about. It's really, I think, has only been talked about for maybe the last 2 or 3 years to any great detail. We did a survey in wheat, chickpea and sorghum crops in the 2011-12 season to see what weed species were actually present in crop and setting seed, just to get an idea of whether or not there's a need for harvest weed seed control in the north. So we did a random survey right across the northern region, so going from northern New South Wales right up to central Queensland. Overall, we found 70 different weed species in crop. So for a start, you can see that the northern region is quite unique. We've both got winter and summer cropping options, but we have a huge suite of weed species present. Out of these weed species that we found, most of them were setting seed in crop at harvest time. So again, it's clearly pointing towards the fact that our in-crop weed management is not doing the job sufficiently in terms of stopping that weed seed being produced and returned to the seed bank. So from that perspective, I see that there definitely something needs to be done to stop that weed seed setting crop. Whether or not harvest weed seed control fits in our system is another question. The two main weeds that we found in crop producing seed above harvest height were fleabane and common sow thistle. Now, both of these species have wind dispersed weed seeds, and both of these species don't set their seed all at the one time. So if you're going through and harvesting, and let's say you've got your Harrington seed destructor attached to your header, firstly, we don't know how much of that weed seed is actually going through the header that can then be destroyed. And that there's such small weed seeds too, especially fleabane, whether or not the Harrington seed destructor would be able to destroy the weed seeds. Some of the other species that we found were quite common, wild oats, with quite a large amount of seed being retained at harvest time, which we thought was quite a surprise. We thought a lot of the seed may have already been dropped from wild oats. There's another potential target. And what I see as the main potential targets are our brassica weed species in our broadleaf crops. So in chickpea, we found a huge population of turnip weed and African turnip weed, and most of them retaining nearly all of their seed at harvest time. So similar to your wild radish, yep. Potentially a role there.
So you did a survey and you found 70 weeds. If you did that in Western Australia, you'd be lucky to find 4,
yeah.
I think. But and ryegrass and radish would be the two main ones, but it really does show the difference in the challenge for the northern cropping zone. You've got so many weeds and a lot of different ecology with their seed bank life and so on.